Good evening, everyone. Today's Sunday, November 24th, 2013, and tonight we just had another great episode of Walking Dead. It was episode 7, titled Deadweight, and let's just say we got our governor back. Oh man, the person we love to hate is back, everyone. So the episode started off basically right after last week's episode. Last week we saw what the governor has been doing the last 5 or 6 months or so between seasons 3 and 4. He grew a beard and he found a new family basically in a school. And at the end of the episode, he saved the little girl Megan from a pit of walkers, and lo and behold, his old second-in-command, Martinez, comes back. Yep, Martinez is back. Alright, so what else happened? Well, Martinez is in charge of a new group. It's in the middle of nowhere, and what we saw in this episode was a real turning point for the governor. It really was. We see Martinez and the governor, he's still going by Brian. Brian Harriet, I believe the last name is. And they go on a supply run with 2 other gentlemen, I believe. And on the way to this cabin, they come across 3 corpses with their heads chopped off, decapitated, and have signs. Each one has a different sign. One says murderer, one says rapist, and the other says liar. So it's kind of like a whole, kind of like the movie Seven, with the 7 deadly sins kind of thing. That's kind of like what I saw when I saw these corpses decapitated with signs attached to them. When they get to this cabin, they run into some walkers, and Brian, or the governor, whichever you want to prefer him as. I like to call him as the governor. He takes out 2 walkers with a flashlight. At this time, Martinez can already tell that he's changed over the last few months, and in a good way, I guess. We see them, the next day, all together back at camp eating lunch, and Martinez is talking to the girls all about the past and Woodbury and what the governor was like back in the day. And then when the governor hears that, he starts to, push away. He doesn't want to bring up the past because of what he did at the end of season 3 to all his people. He doesn't want to talk about it. Okay? And then we see the huge turning point of the episode where, after lunch, Martinez and the governor go up on top of a trailer and they start hitting golf balls right into the pit, that they trap zombies in. And all of a sudden, boom, governor whacks Martinez in the back of the head with a golf club. Kind of a dirty move, but, classic, governor status. And Martinez gets dragged to the pit, and he gets eaten up by the walkers. And that's where we actually see, before he got hit in the head, Martinez is like, hey, we can share this camp. We can share the power. And as the governor is dragging Martinez to the pit, he's screaming out, I don't want it. I don't want it. And then after he feeds Martinez to the walkers, he starts crying. He's tearing up. I wouldn't say crying, but he tears up right there. In my opinion, he's probably crying, or I'm sorry, he's tearing up because he's going back to the way he used to be last year, and it probably scares him, in my opinion. You know, he just got back to this new family, he was a different person, and now he's going back to his old ways. You know? So, later on, the camp finds out that Martinez is dead, but I guess the governor told them, you know, a bullshit story. You know, he got drunk and he fell into the hole. So, the next day, you know, the camp is trying to appoint a leader, but in the meantime, the governor and these two other guys, Pete and Mitch, go off for another supply run, and on the way, they see this other abandoned camp in the woods, and the one guy, Mitch, yeah, he's actually ex-army, they mentioned earlier in the episode. Mitch, we see he's a loose cannon. He's, you know, he's kind of like the governor, almost. What the governor used to be. Because he wants to raid the camp and steal all their supplies. And the other guy, Pete, you know, he's kind of, you know, he's got the softer side. He says, no, we're not doing this, you know. But then backtracking to the camp, they see that the ones they were going to steal from, their place was raided and everyone was killed. We have no idea who did it, or why, obviously. But we see Mitch go up to an old man who survived the attack and just... Mitch stabs the old man in the head. You know, that's where we see him, you know, he's a loose cannon, you know? And the governor sees something in this guy, you know? After realizing that Pete is kind of a softy, governor goes up to him, to his trailer the next day, and here we go again. The governor, you know, that dark side comes back, and he stabs Pete right in the back and kills him. Throws him into the lake, and, you know, basically what I see, the governor wants to be in power again. He wants to be the leader. But I think he's not gonna make the same mistakes as he did last year with his old group. You know, he's gonna be he's gonna be the governor 2.0, so to speak. He basically he realizes Mitch is actually, you know, the kind of person he needs as a new second in command. He does what has to be done for the good of the camp, to protect the camp. He saw that when he killed that old man in the camp in the woods. And so what Mitch and the governor start doing is, you know, they make a perimeter around the camp. They make a circle barrier of all the trailers that they've got, and they start making fences out of, you know, wooden logs and barbed wire, you know, a protective, you know, radius around the whole place to protect the camp. And there's one moment, again, where the little girl Megan is playing around with her aunt Tara, I believe. And, of course, Megan gets, you know, lost kind of in the camp and finds a walker. Walker, you know, breached the camp and starts, you know, chasing Megan. And no one's able to get the walker away from Megan, and boom. Governor just shoots the walker right in the head. Just out of nowhere. Basically, we're at the end of the episode, and, you know, a heart-thumping moment at the end of the episode, you know, comes along. And the governor's taking a stroll through the woods. You know, he goes to the lake where he dumped Pete's body, and he's just reflecting on, you know, Pete's, you know, zombie Pete is in the lake, you know, weighed down by, you know, an anchor or something like that. And you can see that the governor is reflecting on what he's done the last couple of days, and he realizes, this is who I am. I am not this Brian Harriet that I have called myself the last couple months. This is who I really am. You know? And on his way back to the camp, lo and behold, he sees Herschel and Michonne on a truck dumping walkers, you know. It's actually after the events of episode 5, after the raid that went along with that small herd at the prison. And so we really, the episode basically ends, the governor holding up a gun, you know, aiming at Michonne. What I'm guessing is aiming at Michonne, because, you know, Michonne killed, you know, the governor's, you know, Walker daughter. Sorry. And that basically concluded the episode. What I wanted to talk about as well, we notice a conversation between Tara and a new girl in the camp, Ashley. They start talking about weapons and guns. And we actually get to see Tara is actually gay. She's a lesbian. Because they start, you know, they formed a connection in that conversation. And it was actually nice to see that kind of thing. You know, we have, in the prison, we have Maggie and Glenn. You know, it's a great little love story and everything. And now we have, like, you know, the other side of, you know, the zombie apocalypse. We see Tara and Ashley. Kind of a different romance, you know, because they're gay. But I like it because, you know, it keeps our mind off all the death and all the walkers around and going on in the world. And, you know, it's sort of a brighter side to the story, which is great. So that's basically it for this episode. Next episode is the mid-season finale. It's next Sunday. Not sure what it's titled. I forget. But it's the 8th episode. And I saw a sneak peek watching Talking Dead of the mid-season finale. And the governor is talking to his camp about, you know, Rick's group and all of them at the prison. And I'm telling you, the governor has this way of convincing people and turning them, you know, into almost like a murderous, like, frenzy. That's the correct word, I guess. And he, you know, gathers up an army and goes to the camp, or goes to the prison with his people, and it looks like there's going to be an all-out war. And in the promo, I believe, it shows that someone could die. So I think someone important is going to die. I don't know who. Who knows? We will have to wait and see in next week's episode. I really can't wait. So, I think that's it for me tonight, and I guess I will see you all later. Bye!